Luke Reimer, Flurry Sports here, bringing you a mock draft if you have the number one pick in your Dynasty startup draft. Normal, one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, one tight end, two flex. It'd be half-point PPR scoring. So again, this is the number one pick in your Dynasty startup draft. First pick, easy choice. It's Ja'Marr Chase. I mean, he's the best player in fantasy football. He's 24 years old. He's the guy you're going to have in your team for a very long time. And what's interesting about taking Ja'Marr Chase first here is, as opposed to kind of planning for the future, we're kind of in win-now mode already, right? We want to maximize everything we can out of Ja'Marr Chase before an inevitable injury or gets older or anything happens. So I like to double up. I like to go with the running back here. It's hard to pass on Saquon Barkley after what we saw last year. And then going off of that, like, let's take another guy kind of like Ja'Marr Chase, you know, a young player who is producing now. That's Devon Achane. So starting off Devon Achane, Saquon Barkley, Ja'Marr Chase. It's a great threesome to start in a 10-team league. Coming back, I'm looking to kind of supplement that wide receiver room, or if we have any running backs available. The one that speaks to me right away is Josh Jacobs, right? We know that he's going to get touches. We know he's going to get touchdowns. Matt LaFleur loves to run the ball, and Josh Jacobs is as big of a workhorse as anyone in the NFL. So Josh Jacobs will produce big. Plus, the age gap still helps. It's another Ja'Marr Chase, Devon Achane pick where he's young but can play. Next pick here, I like Rome Odunze. It's a receiver out of Chicago, right? Chicago beefed up their offensive line. New head coach in Ben Johnson. Keenan Allen's out of town. Rome Odunze is a stud in college. We saw how good he was last year. I think skies are only brighter for Rome Odunze moving forward. Our next pick here. Looking at the words, nothing really speaks. This is probably a quarterback position. I took Bo Nix. Bo Nix is another guy who's young and can produce right now. The Denver offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. Plus, you have Sean Payton offense. Bo Nix is a move. Our next pick here. This is a gamble for me. Like, I really like George Pickens in this spot. DK Metcalf is at Pittsburgh now, right? So some of that pressure should be alleviated off of Pickens. Aaron Rodgers should be there. So we know how electric George Pickens is with the ball in his hands. And you're telling me he's not going to see probably top coverage. I love George Pickens. I understand it's a gamble. He's only 24 years old. I trust that Pittsburgh will figure out a quarterback, but if we get Aaron Rodgers for a bridge year, George Pickens will definitely be involved. Looking here, if you're not sold on George Pickens, you're not sold on Rome Odunze, we're in this win-now mode, right? Like, let's just make it easy. We're going to go Mike Evans. We know he's got a 1,000-yard season in him. He's not going anywhere, at least for this year. They did draft Emeka Buka, but Mike Evans is still the number one target. As long as he's in the NFL, he's getting 1,000 yards. And then I think to kind of counteract that, like, let's take a young receiver here. I'm dipping back into the Chicago well. I see Luther Burden there. Luther Burden is young. I'm probably higher on him than a lot of people are. I love what he can do out of the slot, especially in a Ben Johnson-led offense. Like, why can't Luther Burden, fill that Amon-Ra St. Brown role? Why can't he be the guy who gets open, finds spots in the middle of the field, and then he's electric with the ball in his hands? So I'm expecting big things out of the run after catch for Luther Burden. Our next pick here. I love what the Rams did in the offseason. With Puka Nacua on the field, like, Puka's probably seen top coverage, right? So you tell me Devontae Adams gets secondary coverage. Give me Devontae Adams all day. And then I do Trey Benson. James Conner's 30 years old, plus his injury history is not great. Arizona didn't really do anything to kind of upgrade their running back room or to even challenge Trey Benson. I think this is a year that Trey Benson really sees an uptick in targets, uptick in rushes. I think he's going to see what a lot of people thought maybe last year was going to be. So you're getting a starting running back, a young starting running back in the 11th round. I love that. 12th pick here. I think quarterback might be the move if you're not sold on Bo Nix. I'm looking at Jared Goff. Jared Goff's only 30 years old. We've seen what he can do with all these weapons around him. Like, I think you do much worse at your starting quarterback in a win now right now than Jared Goff. So it's an easy pick there for me. Tight end, we haven't taken one yet. I'm willing to punt on tight end. There's nothing that really speaks to me for the young guys. Loveland's fine, but Travis Kelce's the pick here. He's not going to be a number 1, number 2, maybe not even 3, 4, or 5 tight end, but he's a solid, 7 to 12 guy. He's still Travis Kelce. I'm willing to take him for another year and then punt on tight end. Our last couple picks here, we're taking flyers. We're taking guys that we can trade with high value in the middle of the season. I'm looking at Stephon Diggs right now. I know he's hurt, but look what he's done for other young quarterbacks in the NFL. Right? Kirk Cousins made the next step with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen made the next step with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs played good in Houston until he got hurt. I'm hoping he can be Drake May's next guy. And then I rounded out here with Terrence Ferguson at the Rams. Again, I'm high on the Rams. Terrence Ferguson is athletic as hell. He's a guy who should be on the field on passing downs, especially with Tyler Higbee's injury history here. We know Stafford likes his big targets. I think Terrence Ferguson could be a steal of the draft here. Plus, he's young. There's your kind of supplement to Travis Kelce. Second part of the video here, we're going to do a Superflex league, which has become very popular in Dynasty. So you're starting a quarterback, and then you're starting any position: quarterback, receiver, running back, tight end, for that other flex spot. So all positions are still the same. Except we're adding that super flex. We're doing still half-point PPR. You can take a look at the rosters here. 10 teams, Dynasty, half PPR. And then a snake draft as normal. Superflex kind of brings in a little bit more flexibility. Certainly for more points. So we're starting with the number 1 pick again, right? So this is kind of different than Jamar Chase. We have quarterbacks on the board. There's 3 interesting quarterbacks here. We have Josh Allen at 28 years old. We have Jaden Daniels at 24 years old, and we have Lamar Jackson at 28 years old. Whoever you like, I don't hate taking here. I'm going to take Josh Allen just because we've seen what he's done over the last, how many years. He's probably the best, electric fantasy player to start a team around, to build a team around. So Josh Allen's a pick. You're not going to be mad about having him. We get all that rushing ability with his passing. So Josh Allen's a pick. Looking down, I think the move again is Saquon Barkley. Just looking at these quarterbacks, there's nothing that really screams anything to me. So with Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, we're going back to win now. But I think this gets really interesting because we have another running back on the board who I really like, Amarian Hampton. He's a hard-nosed bruiser running back, and we know that Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball, right, at the Chargers. He needs a workhorse. He needs a guy who can put his head down, smash through defenders, lower his shoulder, and get yards. Marion Hampton's that guy, 220 pounds. He's going to be Jim Harbaugh's bowling ball workhorse running back for years to come. I love taking him in the 3rd round. 4th round picks, we have those 2 flex spots open. I see Bucky Irving there. How can you pass up on Bucky Irving, especially after what we saw last year? His receiving upside is just too big to pass on. So we have, 3 quality running backs here. 2 young ones, and Saquon Barkley, who, not young, not old, but the best running back in the NFL. We got to go receiver here now. Looking at receivers, nothing really speaks out to me. T. Higgins is probably the pick here. He's the best out of those available. T. Higgins is... So you get the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase stack. Realistically, you're getting most of the receiving points from the Cincinnati Bengals, which I love. We know they want to pass the ball. Coming back around, I'm looking at quarterbacks. I see Michael Penix there. We know how good Michael Penix is. Atlanta's got targets up the wazoo. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Michael Penix is the pick. Looking at receivers or running back, Derrick Henry's there. He's probably not going to help you for your future. I don't necessarily know that you're in as big of win now mode as you were in the first part of the video. There's really no one there to challenge Derrick Henry. I just don't know how much you're going to get out of him. I'm seeing Xavier Worthy there. We saw what he did in the second half of the year last year. Xavier Worthy is probably Patrick Mahomes' number 1 guy outside of Travis Kelce to kind of work that middle of the field and run after the catch, what the Chiefs have done so well. Xavier Worthy, I think, is the pick here. He's young and he's ready to go. Our next pick here, there's a couple different positions you can go, right? Still need to fill out that kind of that running back receiver depth. I'm seeing Jerry Jeudy here, 26 years old. He didn't have anything at quarterback last year, right? And he still put up a monster second half of the year. We know what Jerry Jeudy is. We've just been waiting for the right spot. Jerry Jeudy's the pick. Especially given what we've seen. David Montgomery maybe. Alvin Kamara I'm not in on, but Jerry Jeudy has the tools to be a number one guy in the NFL. And he showed that last year. He's got Joe Flacco throwing the ball. He's got Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. Now, I'm not saying that anyone they have now, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, is going to be that much better, but it can't be that much worse of what he's had over his career. So looking at the board here, Matthew Golden, Mike Evans, Luther Burden, Jaden Reed. I'm going David Montgomery. We need running back depth. With the foursome of Saquon Barkley, Amari Hampton, Bucky Irvin, and David Montgomery, you should be set for running back for, at least the next 2 to 3 years. So David Montgomery, 27 years old, right? So you're probably getting, at least 2 more years out of him. Our next pick here, looking down the draft board, there's some young quarterbacks, there's some tight ends there. We're kind of in that middle stage receivers. I love him. I'm taking Cam Scatterable. He's a guy that, he's going to play hard. He's a locker room guy. Team's going to love him. Cam Scatterable, there is an avenue for him to be, the workhorse back. And then I followed up again with Davante Adams. Again, I just don't understand how teams are going to guard both Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. I think Puka's probably a little bit more of a target hog at this point, so Davante Adams, again, single coverage. It's going to be tough to stop. Scrolling down the list here, again, those young quarterbacks up front, Najee Harris, Deebo Samuel, Jacoby Myers. Like, those guys don't feel like players that you're going to win a championship immediately with. Let's go Travis Kelce again. Let's get that tight end shirt up, at least for this year. We can kick the can down the road. And another one here, Rachaad White's only 26 years old. I know didn't have the greatest year, but, he's a handcuff right there to Bucky Irving, should anything happen to him. And if Rachaad White finds a new team soon, again, only 26 years old, he's a guy who still got somewhat fresh legs. He's a guy who can work in the pass game, and he's a guy who will find himself on the field. So next pick here, I'm looking at quarterback. Justin Fields is kind of an interesting pick in a new spot with the Jets. He's 26 years old, but again, we know what Jets quarterbacks are. Jackson Dart's a pick here. He's not going to start right away. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in town, but he's a guy you can put on your taxi squad, let him develop a year, and then reap the rewards once he gets to that starting position. Looking forward here, I'm looking at tight ends. I'm looking at, really anything. This is another kind of a dart throw where, is there someone that you can draft that you can, trade with high value? Jalen Milroe's really interesting. When does Jalen Milroe start? They gave money to Sam Darnold, so it's hard for me to believe that Jalen Milroe is going to have a strong role right away. Had I not take Jackson Dart there, Jalen Milroe might be the pick. But looking at the board, Jalen Noel, Ben Sinnott, Stephon Diggs, Jatavion Sanders, Derek Carr, Jalen Coker. Shadur Sanders, I'm a Shadur Sanders guy. I'm not taking him. Stephon Diggs, same reason as before. If you can get 1-2 years out of him, I think you're solid. I also think that this is a situation where Stephon Diggs could start hot before he gets hurt, and you can trade him while it's hot. And then moving forward, we're looking probably at a tight end. Is there a quarterback anything that speaks to you? I've seen Cade Otton, Cole Kmet. I don't love, their outlooks come the future. One tight end that I do like that seems like a lot of people aren't talking about is Ben Sinnott. Zach Ertz did re-sign on a 1-year deal, but Ben Sinnott was a warrior in the combine. He was a warrior in college. And here's our team. It's a young team, but it's a team that can compete right away. Love Michael Penix as quarterback too. Fuck yeah!